Why you called Eagle's Nest? She said, well, you look at the front window, right across over to Eagle's, there's an Eagle's Nest up in that tree, and you can see it on the house.
Okay, good.
So every spring, when you keep your binoculars out, you could actually see it, the little babies and all that.
Is it still there?
The nest is still there, but you can't see it because the trees are growing up and covered it up now, so I can't see it anymore. But for years and years, you could just spy on them, right? Every day, that would be my deal.
Yeah, let's make that today.
There's one just behind Daisy's and Crystal's place, or just in that neighborhood there.
Okay.
And I think it's Daisy climb up there and put a camera in it.
I think somebody did it one time.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, they're only used once every couple of years, so. There's one at Fun
Yeah, there's a big festival from Thomas Point.
You know.
There's a lot of eagles around all winter.
Out there.
Yeah.
In fact, there were,
Touchscreen.
antiques and those the other day. There's about 3 or 4 of them. What if you're right? And they were, yeah.
That's
they were-
all right.
Not a lot of fun. If you're-
Hold on, let's go through that.
I know that trio that Thomas Point,
Touchscreen, it's awesome.
McGill. He had climbing gear and stuff like that, so he got this thing in his brain, I'm gonna climb up and check and see what's in the nest, right?
Yeah, well,
So he's climbing up
Caitlin
there.
and, James will be
There you
starting
go, came on
in
and
2 minutes, and then
Eagle
you'll
came
be
down
about
and
5 minutes
it
after
was
we
like-
start.
He thought it was gonna be in a big
Oh,
battle.
my God.
I'll have to ask Lucas if he's heard
Yeah,
that.
I'm happy.
Lucas likes Lloyd. Lloyd tells him lots of stories.
Yeah, well, that was a story, but I never seen it, but that was the story I heard.
Yeah.
So it could have been baloney from Kabaloney, who knows? No.
I know somebody who was doing, I've heard the secondhand, but they were doing drone footage and an eagle took their drone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it would have attacked it for sure.
yeah, they haven't been able to get it back. Yeah. So,
In the early 90s, when we lived in town on Park Place, Max and I went up to the little ball field. He was about 2 or 3 and flying a kite. And an eagle came by. It didn't do anything, it just came by, had its gear out, checked it out, didn't do anything.
we wanted
Figured it wasn't worth eating.
some competition in the neighborhood then.
Yeah.
That's better.
Somebody must have taken all of our copies.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's very Yeah, it's because we didn't have, all
Video?
the agendas had been
Oh, okay.
taken out.
My computer's not working.
Oh, no.
All right, are we ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to call our regular council meeting of February 24th to order. Respectfully acknowledging that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Quagga people, Gilakesa.
Yeah, that's right.
May I have approval of the agenda as presented? Council Tidbury, seconded by Council Dugas. All in favor? Carried. We have the minutes of the regular council meeting held February 10th for adoption. Council Tidbury, seconded by Council Dorwood. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. So we have a delegation from the Aboriginal Housing Management Association regarding a request for municipal support, Indigenous-led cross-sectoral housing alliance. And we have online, we have James Bork and Halen Gardner. And I'm sorry, I don't know what your titles are, so I'll let you introduce yourself. So come on in.
Hi, my name is James Bork, and I'm a housing condition advisor. I'm on the Lheidli territory in Prince George.
Hi, my name is Kayla Gardner, and I am the Senior Communications Specialist at AMA, and I work from the territories of the Squamish Nation.
And I will share my screen. Excuse me while I move things around here. I'm used to working in Zoom, so I have 3 screens going here, and I'm trying to keep everything on where it's supposed to be.
There we go, we can see it.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for making the time for us this evening. I would like to talk a little bit about our municipal collaboration and AMA's resolution to Indigenous housing for the UBCM this fall. And we are in the Indigenous land of the Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam Nations, is where our office is located in West Vancouver. And as I said, I'm from the Lheidli-T'enneh Territory in northern British Columbia. The Aboriginal Housing Management Association, better known as AMA, was the first self-determined Indigenous housing provider, association for Indigenous by Indigenous housing expert for those not living on reserve. 74% of Indigenous people do not live in BC, do not live on reserve. Therefore, they're not supported through federal funding programs or any other government programs that are not distinction focused, which is why AMA exists, to serve urban populations through an Indigenous lens and in collaboration with municipalities. Our members are doing critical work in the community every day just to keep people housed, healthy, but they're doing with less and less funding and without more appropriate funding. While controllable costs have consistently been rising anywhere from 15 to 25%, and members do not have not had a base budget increase for more than 5 years, and the increase that we have had was only 2%. This is why we're coming to you today, because Indigenous housing and service providers start to fail, municipalities become overwhelmed with people experiencing homelessness. Collaboration is powerful. We have seen it work over and over when municipalities work directly with AMA members, leading to incredible community-based outcomes and reductions in homelessness. But due to unpredictable and insufficient funding, there's a growing gap. If
James?
Indigenous,
Sorry,
yes.
James.
Can you, we can see the note screen on top of the, there, okay.
There,
that's better.
okay. Sorry about that.
I
Okay.
can share for you, James, if you'd like.
Okay. This will work this way. Thank you. So we're seeking municipal support to speak as one voice because our members are becoming directly support municipalities across the province. It is widely known that the playing field is not even. Indigenous people have a different socioeconomic reality, which requires a more committed response. Indigenous people are 13 times more likely than non-Indigenous people to experience homelessness at some point in their lives. Currently, all the members are holding back the floodgates. Some of them thinking of selling their assets so they can pay their basic bills, or can't afford support residents they serve appropriately, or they can't pay their staff with the expertise required for complex needs. We need to help pressure the provincial government to appropriately support urban Indigenous housing, because 2% is not even close. Next screen. So as you know, housing is a remedy to many problems in our society. It is the foundation of a well-being and an ultimate form of prevention that delivers the results for every area of a community. AMA believes that housing can and should be a nonpartisan issue. We provide the province with data-driven advice on Indigenous housing needs, but what's missing is more intentional investment in the prevention that keeps the pace with rising cost. Research shows that a dedicated non-market are a lifeline not only for all people, but also for our economy, our healthcare system, and our collective psychology. For each dollar invested in Indigenous housing, the social return is $6.79. and including an estimated $2.90 in government savings, resulting in a decreased service use. Investing in urban Indigenous housing is a win for government because it is good politically to improving our community, and it is great economically. So this is a part of our resolution, and considering everything that I've just shared, this is a draft of the resolution, and we hope that we can start the conversation between your community and municipalities toward the resolution at UBCM 2026. AMA is already in a position to lead, but continues to face challenges with the province. Thus, this is why we're coming to the UBCM to help advocate for urban Indigenous housing in communities with this resolution. So whereas Indigenous people are 13 times more likely than non-Indigenous people to experience homelessness, and whereas 40 to 80% experiencing homelessness in municipalities across British Columbia are Indigenous. Therefore, it be resolved that UBCM calls the province to establish Indigenous-led cross-sectional housing alliance composed of senior representatives in health, justice, social service, housing sectors, and strong and equitable urban, rural, and northern Indigenous representation. Therefore, let it be resolved that the mandate of this alliance includes the development of a provincial framework recognizing safe and adequate housing as essential infrastructure, and to coordinate sector-wide adoption of public endorsement of the position by professional service advocacy, academic, industry associations, and their member agencies. Governments have a moral and indeed even legal imperative to prioritize the most vulnerable to the housing community with planning. The resolution has the backing of AMA's Housing Central Partners, Jill Atke of the BC Nonprofit Housing Association, and Thom Armstrong of the Cooperative Housing Federation of BC. Both stand beside us and with us in this work. Many municipalities have already signed on to the resolution and have responded positively to our initial outreach, starting to confirm their support of including Prince George, Nanaimo, Vancouver, Port Moody, Chilliwack, Victoria, Squamish, Cranbrook Terrace, and today with Port Hardy. Today we are seeking champions to the resolution and the 2026 vision of equity and action through urban Indigenous housing.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
So,
Any
a little bit
questions?
of background is a few months ago, we met with the Intergovernmental Relations Committee in Prince George City Council and did our presentation there, and they moved the motion forward, and they had presented it to City Council unanimously to take it to UBCM, but they are also taking it to the North Central Local Government Association, AGM, in May of this year. So they are bringing the proposal forward, and we're just trying to reach out to as many municipalities as we can across the province and trying to hit all local government associations to the importance of this resolution. You know, over the next couple of years, the urban native agreements are going to be expiring. And a lot of the funding for we support 54 nonprofit housing providers across the province. And a lot of these housing providers are going to be losing their funding. And with the funding reductions as they have currently been announced this week and over the last number of months, you know, the situation's getting dire, and May of 2028 is coming and the urban native agreements are expiring, and like, we don't want people to be homeless. You know, they're losing single family homes across the province. So this is the beginning of our outreach. And we work closely with municipalities across the province, and we find it very important to continue that connection.
Thank you.
Were you going to say something about the housing?
No, go ahead.
Oh, thanks very much for your presentation. And I'm sure our council will discuss it at the next meeting and support it. But I know there is currently in Port Hardy an Aboriginal housing group that the mayor sits on the board. And I thought maybe she would sort of give you an update on that group. But certainly, this will come to our council, and if you're collecting a list of names of councils that support it, I'm hoping our council will be on that list as well.
Thanks. We don't make any decisions on the night that we have a delegation. We talk about it afterwards. But what Councillor Robertson is talking about, I sit on the board of the Sinala Culture Supportive Housing Society, and Alma's done a presentation to them as well and has made connections with them, but as well, we have a strong connection with the Aboriginal Coalition and homelessness. So there's a real synergy happening, and I had no idea that the urban native agreements were expiring very shortly.
Yes.
So this resolution is rather timely. My question was going to be, did you have, because you have to have a member of UBCM or an association to bring forward the resolution, but you seem to have that covered by George taking it to the Northern Association.
Yes. Yeah, they've agreed to take it forward there. They approved it unanimously, so.
That's great. Any other comments or?
No, well, good, thanks for the presentation.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and we know the great work that Alma's been doing in many, many communities. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
And you're welcome to stay online and listen to our riveting meeting, but you do not
For sure.
have to.
You won't feel offended.
I attend the ones in Prince George. They can go for 6 or 7 hours sometimes. So this one's a little more calmer. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
you.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Business arising from the minutes, or we have our council action item report of February 10th for information. Comments? All right, we have our council policy 1.2 about proclamations. So it's amendment to our proclamation policy and just make it more streamlined and maybe not so much work for our staff because our policies were getting quite cumbersome.
I'll make that move.
Moved by Councillor Dugas, seconded by Councillor Tidbury. Any other comments? All in favor? Carried. We have our, under new business, Small Craft Harbors, Fisheries and Oceans Canada regarding certified resolution for signing authority. And perhaps our CAO, Nelson Smith, would like to explain that resolution.
Yeah, so I've signed the lease agreements for small craft harbors for a number of years. And this year they required a board resolution of the Harbor Authority in order to sign lease agreements. I did provide them with a copy of my contract, my job description, the community charter, which allows me to sign. But they still would like this to prove that I am authorized to act on behalf of the district of Port Hardy. And personally, I think because they're mainly dealing with boards and not municipalities, and so they're just making sure that they dot all their I's and cross their T's. As a result of this, you will see, because this is the second time now we've had to come forward for an organization to provide a resolution to say that we are authorized to act on behalf of the municipality. So you will be seeing in the near future a delegation bylaw that will come forward, which will basically explicitly spell out everything that we can actually do on behalf of the municipality. But this is to satisfy the lease agreement renewal with small craft harbors.
Motion for this, I'm sorry.
Moved by Councillor Darwood, second by Councillor Tidbury. All in favor? Carried. We have the press release from the Minister of Mining and Critical Minerals regarding the adding of 3 mining projects to the Critical Minerals Office. So great press release. It was very encouraging, and we'll see how it all plays out. And I know staff are thinking about all the extra work that's going to happen. Any other comments?
Just to say, well, when we had the opportunity to have the minister here, and Quatsino and the Coffin Gold with San Lee and that group. That was very, because in that meeting, it seemed like the minister was very in favor of what was going on, but what does that mean? You know, talk's cheap. They came through.
2 weeks later.
That's pretty quick. And it was really nice to see and to see that they're supportive of this moving forward is quicker than letting it sit in the back burner. Now it's put up at the top, up on the list with the rest of them. That's pretty encouraging, really.
Yes, it's very encouraging. So as the minister said at the announcement, the official announcement, he said, you now have a lot of work to do in a very short period of time. Because they want
Keep it
to
moving.
get things moving and you know, they have to do it right and they have to do the environmental assessment and do all the permitting, but it's almost like they've got someone to hold their hand to make sure it's done properly.
Yeah.
All right, we have under correspondence, the BC Association of Farmers Market regarding the Farmer Market Nutrition Coupon Program for information. And I believe they're looking for a letter of support.
Mhm.
And I think, personally, I think the positive impact in Port Hardy using the nutrition program is, has been very significant. And the farmers market is working with the Mount Washington Family Literacy Society. That's really showed how people want to have nutritious food. And when they sign up, they're saying, help me out. And the lineup at the food vendors that have the very nutritious dense food is long. Anyhow, so we'll see, but with the cuts coming, we don't know for sure what's gonna happen this year.
Mhm. We need to have a motion.
Motion to support, or letter of support.
I'll second.
Second by Council Judith. Any other comments? All in favor? Carry. We have from Misty Rose, member of large Triport. Sorry, lost it for a second. Triport Society, a request for flag raising and an event in Carrot Park. So they're looking at raising a flag on March 31st and the use of Carrot Park on Sunday, June 28th.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councilor Tidbury, seconded by Councilor Robertson. Any comments? All in favor?
Oh, just one question, sorry. For the flag raising, is that just for that particular day?
Yeah.
It's just a one day? Oh, okay, yeah, great, thank you.
Okay, we have from Sarah Flatt on behalf of the 2026 graduating class and parents, regarding 2026 graduation banners. So they've got a big graduating class, 52 grads.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, awesome.
So-
Depletes the numbers at the high school.
Mhm.
there is, we don't have enough, what I think, billards or standards,
Standards, yeah.
to have all those up there, even if they're doubled up. So we'd have to talk to Sarah about how she thinks that's gonna work to get 52, because what were you saying earlier?
We have enough for 48. So last year's graduating class was 48. We have 24 poles. So if they're double-sided, then we can do 48 banners. And then in this graduating class, they've got 54. So they'll have to figure out how to fit those additional. And hanging them from below. We've had some discussions about that when we did the red dress banners and where they wanted to hang the dresses down below. Unfortunately, people will grab them.
Right.
And grab the poles. So they'll have to figure that out. But we do have a bit of a, if this bucket truck doesn't come in time, that we need to order, then we have 3 banner changes that need to happen in a span of 2 months. So May is red banners and June is pride banners. And so we're gonna have to slide these up in a 4-week period between mid-May and the beginning 2 weeks of June in order to accommodate grad weekend, but then still be able to get the pride banners up for June. So just logistically, if we don't have a bucket truck or staff. Yeah,
And the other thing too is that they're asking for the month of June and we can't do it for the whole month of June just because of the other banners that have to go up. So if we wanted to go ahead with it, it's just explaining to the grad class that it's dependent on getting the bucket truck and it can't be for the whole month. And
I was just gonna say, I think it's a good idea. But can we sort of leave it in the hands of Heather to talk to Sarah and just figure out something to how, I mean, I think most people will support this, just figure out how to do it.
Mhm.
yeah, it's just money really for the month, right? So we'd have to kind of figure out what that cost is gonna be. Just as a grant to need, right?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. I just want to say the letter is really well written too, and it includes everything.
Mhm.
Just nice to see.
yes, exactly. I'll second by Counselor Tidbury, sorry, got his hand up first. Any other comments? All in favor? Carried. We have the HBL Championship Team 2026 request for silent auction donation. And that is the Hardy Bay Bowling League event going to the championships in Courtney, so it's, good. 11 people qualified to go, so that's great. So they didn't give a specific on, what they're looking for, the sponsorships.
Other things, donated, season parking pass for boat launch or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that if that works.
Mhm.
I think kind of that too.
Yeah, are we okay in the, matinee budget? So do something similar as we do with, the loggers, golf tournament and
Rotary.
in the Rotary.
My only question is, does it matter that this is like not a society, but rather a regular company? You know, because I know that, you know, unless it's like a provincial championship or more, I think typically is, I don't know if we have a policy, but it seems to have loosely followed that. When it comes to sports teams. I don't know if it's like youth.
Youth nonprofits, and I think just pull up the policy there.
That's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's not benefit, well, it is sort of benefit,
Yeah,
not
no, I know.
Hardy Bay Lane. But it's a group of people that
Representing Port Hardy.
No, I totally
representing Port
totally
Hardy.
understand what you're saying, but just
Just making
the
sure.
next company that comes along, like, we just need to be careful. I don't think that our donation is gonna make or break their going, but I think we have to be careful about, it is a private entity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tricky area.
yeah.
team sports.
It's a team sport.
All the other teams are run by societies or schools, so.
No,
Well, we've given money to Highland dance competition.
I think that's a society as well.
volleyball, they're not a societies,
Cool, they're not
basketball.
Youth.
but they're not incorporated, so I don't
That's-
think, I don't recall giving funding to any private corporation.
Yeah,
That, to be clear, like the other ones are school or societies or associations.
like
as opposed to-
the
That's
Wild
what
Women,
Robertson had it.
So,
Wild Women Hockey Group, they don't have a group, right, to send it to an individual that to use for their payment of travel.
That's Robertson.
so I don't disagree with you. I mean, it's a good point. However, I think who we're supporting are the 11 people going to the competition.
Yeah, I get that.
And they are represented, and they aren't a representative group of that business. They're simply representing themselves. And they
And
use,
Port Hardy.
and, yeah, thank you.
Mhm, mhm.
And,
obviously.
So I draw the distinction between the group going and competing and the business. So,
Okay,
So our policy doesn't specifically say not business, but it does say team sports or single sports. But section 25 of the community charter says unless it's expressly authorized, council must not provide a grant, a benefit, advantage, or form of any other assistance to a business, including any form of assistance, or an exemption or a tax or a fee.
Yeah, this isn't going to the business.
this isn't going to be business.
And they're
For
taking-
travel costs.
It's for travel costs, right? So they're using the donation, like, are they looking for, they're looking for cash, right?
no,
Just
No, it's just a
silent
donation.
auctions.
Okay.
If it's legal, I'm fine with that and, follows policy. I'm, like, it's not that I don't want to support them. I totally, like I said, I'd be in favor of donating this parking pass. I just wanna make sure that
it's legal.
we're clear that this is a bit different when it's from a incorporated entity.
So they're fundraising to send.
I'll move the-
Did we have a mover and seconder already?
No.
No, moved by Counselor Robertson, seconded by Counselor Dugas. Any other comments?
We can do a quick pulse check with our free legal in the morning and just confirm, just so that everybody feels comfortable, and if it isn't kosher, then we can bring it forward for rescinding at the next meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll just table it?
You can make the motion. If we have to rescind it, we can rescind it, but
Oh, okay,
this way it doesn't hold anything up, but we'll just do the
Yeah.
pulse check.
okay, thank you. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, we have from Megan Fee, the coordinator, and I'm not gonna try and pronounce that, from Nourish North Network, United Way Regional Community Food Hub, Mount Washington Region, regarding a letter of support for the Quadville compost and business development. This looks pretty amazing. They're already doing a bit of composting pilot, on the Quadville, reserve, where they're doing bucket composting. And so this is just looking at expanding it and making it bigger. So it's just a letter of support and on developing a proposal.
Mhm. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jen.
I was gonna make a motion if you wanna make a motion.
No, you make the motion.
Okay, I'll
Just
make the
make a
motion.
comment.
Moved by Councillor Darwood. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second it,
Councillor Dugas.
but I just wanted to make a comment because it talks about the 7 Mile landfill and, how the benefits and everything else. Have they formally talked to in your meetings with the RD yet? Come to them to do this presentation or similar?
They have gotten a letter of support from the regional district, but I don't know if they've talked to the regional district because there's been maybe some, that could be part of the business plan. I think in the past, when the regional district has been approached about doing composting, there's been a
Mhm.
little bit of hesitation,
Yeah.
so. So I'm sure it's part of the business plan, because they want to take it to ICE-T, that they would, that would be part of the business proposal, is talking to the regional district as well.
Right. I know that, because when we talked about it at the RD, it was the logistics with regards to picking up the compost and getting it to the site and how it's gonna be dealt with. There's a lot to it. I mean, it's a big, big deal, this is, and so it'll be interesting to see what their business plan is and how they plan to make it work.
Well, exactly, and, that's why,
I think it's a great idea. It's just, like it's a big, to take on something like that, that's huge. That's big, that's a big deal.
Did we talk a little bit about the NIMOs? At that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Victoria.
I must have heard that somewhere else then.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, different communities have it, but we don't have it up here in Little Island.
No, I think it's good. Get me wrong, I think it's a great idea, but the other thing is they haven't really established where they're gonna do it yet.
That's the other.
That's the other big question.
That would be the other part of the business plan, I'm assuming that maybe it will be out at 7 Mile.
Mhm. Yeah. Anyways, I'm totally in support of it, giving them a letter of support, that's for sure.
Any other comments? All in favor? Carried. We have the draft minutes of the Policy and Governance Committee meeting held February 10th for information. So from that, policy meeting, we have a recommendation that the Policy and Governance Committee recommended council that policy CP 6.17, employees responding as firefighters, be approved as presented.
I'll make that move.
Moved by Councilor David, seconded by Councilor Tidbury. So this is just making sure that if we have a fourth-party employee, whether full-time or part-time, that we make sure that they are paid, but and they're double dipping, and just the policy is very straightforward. All in favor? Carried. We have the draft minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held February 10th for information. Comments. We have the draft minutes of the Bear Smart Committee meeting held February 17th for information. So still moving forward with the Bear Smart Committee, but just making it much more online and looking for more volunteers. All right, staff reports. We have from our CAO, Heather Nelson Smith, regarding development variance permit 01-2026 9445 Carmarthen Road. CAO Nelson Smith.
Yeah, so we have an application for a covered deck up on Carnarvon Road. Both myself and the deputy corporate officer did a site visit on the property to kind of have a look and see what's kind of going on in the neighborhood, what's already happening on the property. Our recommendation, based on the fact that we have quite a distance between the property line and the road edge, as well as what's already happening in the neighborhood, and the fact that this deck, if you're not familiar with the house is actually not very far off of the ground. So the deck is actually going to be almost pretty much at grade level. So it's not going to be built up, and the house is a single level house. And so coming off of the front, but the sides would be open so that anybody who's passing by will still be able to see any kind of traffic happening there. There's still 5 meters to the road edge itself. So there's no impeding of that. And the lot coverage does not exceed the 40%. I think we're sitting at about 39.8% at this point in time with this addition going on there. And as you can see, I just kind of highlighted to this 2.5 doors down on the right-hand side. You can see that there's actually a covered garage that goes well into the setback in the front. So staff's recommendation would be to approve the variance as it says.
So did anybody?
And nobody responded.
And nobody responded, okay. Councilor Tidbury,
I'm following Councillor
Dugas,
Dugas.
are you?
He's a for it and I'm seconded it.
I was making a motion.
Oh, moved by Councilor Dugas, second by Councilor Tidbury. Comments? So I assume the motion is to approve the development variance permit.
Mhm.
Any other comments? All in favor? Approved. We have from our CAO another development variance permit 02-2026 7370 Market Street.
Yeah, so I attached the drawing and I apologize that it's a little difficult to see, but basically you have a cantilever coming off of the North Shore. And under that cantilever, the proponent is going to be putting a patio with a bar service down below. As part of that, it'll actually have a little bit of a lift that'll come off. It's about a 1.5 foot lift that'll come off, and it'll actually sit into that front setback. So roughly about 6 feet into their variance. Apologies, I'll go back to the screen where it says what. 2 meters into the front setback, which doesn't impede with the sidewalk or the parking area in the front. Seeing as it's a very minor variance, it will bring a little bit of light and entertainment to the downtown core there, and also augment the pub services. Staff's recommendation is to approve.
Thank you. And again, my question would be, any feedback from the,
No, none.
no? Okay. Moved by Counselor I'm sorry. Moved by Counselor Dorwood, seconded by Counselor Tidbury.
I think it's a good idea. It'll be.
And again, I assume it's going with the approved the development variance permit.
It'll be an interesting weekend for Lumber Days.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. From our CAO, Heather Nelson Smith, liquor license application 7370 Market Street. Notice for information.
Yeah, so the notice is just in your agenda package, just so that people have an awareness that there is gonna be a new liquor primary going in that location, and the comment period closes on March the 2nd. On the next council agenda, council will review that application, and at the same time, you will also review the development permit as amended to include the variance for the pub and the pub services and the liquor primary as part of that whole package.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have bylaw number 1188-2026 financial plan for 2026-2030 for first, second, and third reading.
I'll make the movement.
Moved by Counselor Dugas, seconded by Counselor Tidbury. Maybe our finance officer would like to speak to it a little bit.
Really pleased that we're gonna get there. Yeah, it's, I think a really good financial plan this year and our meetings have been really well. I'm looking forward to having it adopted and we can let everybody go crazy with their budgets. They keep asking me.
And can we,
Pretty soon.
And just for awareness, the public presentation will be on the next committee of the whole. I believe we're at 6:15 for the financial plan presentation on the 10th of March.
thank you. All in favor? Carried. We have no pending bylaws and council reports. Councilor Dorwood.
Thank you. I was able to attend our CMP Appreciation Day. It was a nice little thank you that we provided. Thanks for arranging some really nice cupcakes for them. And the timing was very moving with the recent tragedy in Tumbler Ridge. So I'm really glad that we do that each year. Show them. We appreciate all their work. Yeah. No matter what's going on. And then I also was able to attend Minister Brar's announcement that was in the Minister of Mining and Critical Minerals that was in the agenda, and the mood there was very buoyant from everyone from every community, the First Nations that were there in our community, Minister Smith and Minister and the North Island Copper and Gold folks. So yeah. I hope that the findings are all good and the environmental goes through all good and the permit goes through all good. So we'll just wait and see now.
Yeah.
But nice to know that they've got lots of support. So that's it for me.
Councilor Tidbury.
I did the RCMP presentation too. I also going along with that on the weekend, I did the Wounded Warriors run. And it was at the Legion and also at the Civic Center, and it was moving too. Because now you see you see the officers at the RCMP, and then you see at the other end the mental problems and stuff like that, and listen to some of the people that had breakdowns and things like that, and it was definitely very moving, and I just think it's just a worthwhile project, this one. They have 8 runners and they run 8,000 kilometers, 800 kilometers, sorry.
Probably feels like
8,000, that's a lot, yeah.
Especially going.
But 800 kilometers and like I say, it's just a worthwhile thing. And then, yesterday, Monday, yes, I did the CBLAC meeting. And, I'm really pleased that that's starting to form again. We have a new person that's, gonna organize that in, Ricky Clark. And, so, all those health meetings that was sort of, kind of hit or miss, will be coming to be. And, I'm excited about that part because I'm sure we'll get a lot more information, brought back to the table. One of the things that they talked about and, was that the, trying to get more people into the Cole Harbour Community School, into the gymnasium. And trying to get things going there, organized there.
You're good.
Basically, yeah, that's it. I'm sorry,
You got anything else,
More?
John?
I don't know,
No?
just remember tomorrow.
Counselor Dugan.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Rick. Yeah, we've had some finance meetings and, thank you for the staff and all the hard work you've done for the finance stuff. I mean, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be anywhere, so thank you very much for that. RCMP, appreciation, yeah, that was great. I never got to eat any of the cupcakes, but they were very beautiful, so thank you for staff for getting that all organized, that was great. Yeah, the minister of mining and critical minerals, that was very interesting, and I was glad to see that on our agenda that they put it up on the list of their priorities in the province, which is great for the North Island. Wonder if that means the stocks are gonna go up now.
They have
Have
significantly.
they jumped up? See, that makes a big difference for those of you that bought them. But anyways, we won't go there. Yes, and unfortunately, I wasn't at the Wounded Warriors get off on Sunday morning. I was watching a very depressing hockey game on TV. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it, but hey, it's all good.
We was,
4 years from now, we're gonna just give her, so we'll do it all over again. As of February the 17th, the North Island Seniors Housing Foundation got an email from BC Housing telling us that our application for seniors housing has been denied, and unfortunately, it seems like that according to the letter that I think the majority of the applications that were submitted in 2025 were all denied. And only the ones that had been approved prior to that last submission are gonna continue to go ahead, so. Their encouraging letter said, look for other ways of funding for your project. So I guess go back to Plan B or whatever that might be and see where we go from there.
Find somebody with a spare $20 million.
$20 million, yeah. But hey, it is what it is, and we can appreciate the fact where the province is right now, so the budget's tight, and they gotta start finding ways and means to increase their revenues in the province, and I guess that's why our mining thing come up to the top of the list, or up in the list of priorities on the province, so that's all good news. We haven't heard anything with regards to the fish farm situation. You have the federal government hasn't made a decision with regards to what that transition plan is going to be and how they're gonna do that, so. We're all still waiting on bated breath to see where that's gonna go. Hopefully, it's gonna be something that we can all work with as we move forward, and we would like to see obviously more work done with regards into our forestry practices in the North Island too, because it's in dire straits right now in the whole province. A lot of places shutting down and not moving forward, so hopefully 2026 is gonna be a better year. We'll see what happens, but it's sad. And I guess we should, and I think, did we send a letter to Fraser Lake with regards to, we did? Yeah,
Blue Ridge.
Dump-
Oh, not to Fraser Lake.
Fraser Lake for their big fire that they just had, a small community, the main businesses or whatever got hit with a big fire on just the last few days, I guess, and yeah, just about lost it all, but the fire department, volunteer fire department came through and saved a number of the business, but there was a number of businesses that were lost, so. Yeah.
And one life.
One life.
And one life, that's sad.
Just found out.
Oh, they just found that out? Oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, that's sad. So anyways, I think that would be fitting if we could send something to them too. And thank you for the letter that we sent to Tumbler Ridge. It's definitely something that we should have done, and it's a very sad situation, obviously. Anyways, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So Roberts.
Thanks. So I do apologize for not wearing a pink shirt, same as everybody else. I was just driving up, coming up from Down Island and wasn't able to stop at home before I came to the town hall. But in lieu of that, I just thought I would acknowledge the origins of Pink Shirt Day being a school in Halifax where a student who was wearing a pink shirt or a shirt was being bullied. And rather than ignore it, a group of students decided to support him and all wore pink shirts to support that individual. And I just hope that we can all be that brave as time goes through with that. So they were, remarkable kids to do that. Good for them. I was also at the Minister Brewer's press conference. That was very encouraging. I did notice that he tells Sam Lee that he needs to get to work. And I'm pretty sure we understand that we need to get to work now too, but using everybody who was getting together there, it would be a good time, I think, for our community to have more chats with the provincial government about certain plots of land that would need to be for housing and development in the not too distant future, if things come. So if we're going to be ready for that, we're going to need somewhere for that to happen. So anyway, we've done some work on it. We need to sort of get it to happen. There's a series of ocean protection plan seminars on Thursdays. One was on coastal marine strategy. We had a presentation about that. The last one was about the BC shoreline, which I had a hard time understanding, sadly, because my computer died and I had to go on use my phone. It wasn't that well. So anyway, there's ongoing presentations. There was a foundry meeting yesterday, which again, I unfortunately wasn't able to attend in person. I was Down Island, but they are going through with the Port McNeill expansion, and that's working, and other program works. So the foundry is doing quite well, and their own expansion as well is at the RCMP appreciation. There's great cupcakes. Really quite well done. And again, because I was down on, I wasn't able to go to the Wounded Warrior send off, but I did pass them on the way down Island, and so gave them a honk. And again, echo Dennis's thanks for the finance and getting the finances in order. And I'm just wondering, it's a question whether anybody's heard about the salmon allocation. I don't think it's happened yet, but
I can send you a copy of that.
They've already made the
they made the
announcement.
announcement.
I've got a meeting on, when is it? I got a meeting and I'll send the information I've got on it.
We've got different information, but we're waiting to know what the final decision is on the allocation.
Okay, I'll see if this is in here. But just continue on,
And that's me, thank you.
I'll get it for you.
Okay, thank you. So thanks very much, everybody, for your reports. I did want to start off by publicly acknowledging a former CAO, Rick Gabbage, who unfortunately passed away a couple weeks ago due to cancer. And If you haven't read his obituary is very, very touching and very moving, where it does say, yes, he worked at the District of Port Hardy for many years. He started as a wharfinger. He was the a rec manager, and then he became the CAO. But truly, what was the most important part was his family.
Mhm.
And so it was very touching and very sad how quickly someone so vibrant and energetic who did so much for the district as well as the surrounding communities passed so quickly. So different things I've done. The RCMP appreciation, as Councillor Dorward said, having that a few days after Tumbler Ridge tragedy made it so much more important to show our appreciation for the RCMP and what they do, and the RCMP up there that truly ran into a school with no idea what they were going into and go under fire to direct and save as many lives as possible. When they know everybody in that school too, so it's like, oh my goodness. Then doing the Wounded Warriors on Saturday at the Legion and Sunday morning and seeing them go off, where it's 8 runners, but everyone on that team has a story. Everyone on that team has suffered, and they are bringing forward awareness on mental health and how things can change. And as one person said about Tumbler Ridge and paramedics that they're very friendly with up there, this could change someone's career because of such trauma. And so the runners that are running are police officers, they were 911 dispatchers, they were paramedics, that they were Navy, and just all sorts of first responders and people that protect us that aren't the first people on the scene usually. So
Yeah.
thanking them and helping out as much we can and showing our appreciation. I know our staff sergeant said the few words that I said, and us going over there with those cupcakes just made them all feel really like she got choked up, and others were very choked up, but I really appreciated us coming and saying a few words. As do the Wounded Warriors. So things I've done, I went to Port Alice after our finance meeting, and thank you very much for that finance meeting. And getting us so fast or so quickly through our finance, but I went to Port Alice to attend a meeting with the 2 other mayors to talk about our community forests with a UBC master students that are going to get their RFP. And they are all, it's an accelerated program, it's a unique program that people come from all over BC and all over Canada and all over the world. There was people from Beijing, there was people from Ghana, there was people from Nigeria, Ontario, BC, it was all over. And they were doing this undergrad degree, and they were taking a block layout or block level layout, and they're looking towards that, how to make it productive for 7 generations. And there was teams that they went together and did themes, and their themes were old growth or commercial or intensive silviculture or recreation. Very interesting. It was really interesting. And 2 hours out, the other 2 mayors and myself and directors from our community forests, that 2 hours flew by. And it was very interesting. Those students were up here for a little over a week and just going around, and so it was very interesting. It's interesting seeing the diversity and what they wanted to do and what they wanted to take back to, for example, to Beijing or to take back to Nigeria or Ghana. So that was interesting. So one afternoon, I can't remember, I'd been at a meeting and then I came back and I said, I'm just gonna go over and go over to the Civic Center because they had the Hall phone game tournament happening with the schools. Oh my goodness. The energy in there, the loudness in there, it was just that whole Civic Center must have been just reverberating, and it's a wonder the walls and that were not shaking. But that was really neat, and this was the first year they had a team came from Kingham and came over for the tournament, and it was a lot of fun, and it was interesting seeing the kids, and one of my granddaughters was there, and I thought, why is she over at that school? And she was helping with her former school, and then they lost, and she jumped down, she goes, yeah, Eagle View lost to that other team, so I thought I'd go with my old school to go against that team and help them out, and so much fun, and all these kids are having a grand old time, so it was very neat. I attended the press conference with Minister Berard, as everybody was saying, and the energy there was pretty darn amazing in there, and representatives from the Quagils and drumming and singing, as well as the Quatsino First Nations and other nations, and it's a very positive feeling, and everybody is encouraged by the consultation that's happening with North Isle, Copper and Gold, with the First Nations and with the district. And I don't think if they hadn't done that preliminary work already and done so much work, that they would not be in the phase that they are in right now and being part of this group. So again, thank you for the finance plan and getting that all together as quickly as possible. And I know every community is on a timeline of getting it done, but we've worked really hard to try and, unfortunately, we do have to have taxes, but try and make it not as much as other communities, for example.
42%.
The possible 42% increase from Sayward, and I know they're going to work to try and get it down, but it's 42%. Tassus was 14%, I saw. And it's just like, oh, and I was talking to CAO Nelson Smith, and we've tried to keep it between 4 and 5% for a number of years.
Yeah.
And she said, that's been the smartest thing we probably have done, is being consistent. That way, we've kept it consistent, means that we don't have to jump up to 14 or 42%.
Well, if you don't, eventually you're gonna get hit.
Yeah, and
It
so
ain't
the
gonna be
community
pretty.
could have tried to do it at 1 and 2% or 3%, all of a sudden it's coming to bite them.
Yeah.
Wanted to reiterate, volunteers are still needed for loaves and fishes at their distribution in Port Hardy. I saw another social media post come out from the Port Hardy Loaves and Fishes saying they desperately need volunteers. So if anybody can volunteer, even for a couple hours, that would be great. And in closing, even though she's not here, I'd like to thank Deputy Mayor Trina Smith for all her work as being Deputy Mayor. And we're turning it over at the end of the month to Councillor Robertson. So I look forward to getting to go to some meetings.
Right on it there. I got it covered.
So thank you. All right, information and announcements with a few meetings coming up. No notice of an in-camera meeting in the agenda passing, motion to adjourn.
Did I beat him?
Oh,
Oh,
Robertson beat him, no.
Oh.
Questions, Tammy?
Hi. Comment and question. Comment is, the grad in the community, and I think you should support it and let them put their banners up. It's the first time for Port Hardy in the 30 years I've been here, I've seen this. And, it's good to promote the kids, because, graduating, I quit school in grade 10. And graduating is a big thing and they accomplished it and they did it. I think you should support it. Fort McNeil does. They put their banners up for their grads.
Can I just make a comment? We are supporting it.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna make it
I
work.
think you guys could do better. I think you can, they're taxpayers for this town. Give them a little bit of a donation. It's a
Okay,
fundraising.
so Tammy, that, they're not asking for that. They're fundraising and doing
Okay,
that, so,
well, that's a comment.
yeah, okay.
My question is regarding to the application for new liquor primary license and cannabis licensing. The cannabis licensing part, is that another, like, down the street than the last two? Same thing happening again?
No, it's
No.
the same branch. So liquor and cannabis,
Yeah.
one branch.
Okay,
They've applied for a
This
liquor
is all
license.
stuff.
okay.
That's just
Yeah.
the-
So they're not selling cannabis,
Yeah.
opening a cannabis shop or?
No.
Okay, cause I
Yeah,
thought. geez,
it's,
we don't need to
I
read them
thought
all.
it was.
Yeah, and if you have
Yeah.
comments on it, you have to submit them by March 2nd. Don't talk to council about it until you've submitted.
Well, no, I can ask a question, because you have it on the agenda, right? Public.
Oh, absolutely, but yeah, if you
We
have
can
comments
ask
on
a
it.
question
you
on
submit
it, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's my question, so,
Wait, see,
yeah,
no,
okay,
that's your.
all right.
I just don't want them to be swayed unless they see it in writing.
I think the rest, and with the hotel down there, they're doing a fine job. It looks great, what the girls are doing. And, it's a big improvement downtown that area, so, yeah.
Absolutely agree. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree that I would like to see all of the banners up for the kids. I think that's more important than some of the other stuff.
Yeah,
So.
Okay,
yeah.
that would
thank
be
you.
good.
Oh.
Apologies, about the phone, so.
Oh, I should have said
See you
20
guys
bucks.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I know.